As of 2023, a Google search through your web browser will show Bernard Arnault as the richest man in the world, followed closely by Tesla's CEO, Elon Musk. But a closer look into history shows that neither of them is the richest human being ever to have lived. In fact, adjusting for inflation, neither of the top 10 richest men in this present age will come close. Just so you know, one of the richest men in history, which we will be discussing in this video, had a fortune well over twice the size of Elon Musk, and according to Forbes, he controlled a fortune larger than that of Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Jack Ma combined. The most shocking fact of all is, despite his huge fortune, there is a huge probability that you've never heard of him. That being the case, let me introduce you to Mansa Musa, one of the richest men in history. Before we get into the full details, kindly give the video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more premium content. Now, let's get into it. The first question going through your mind right now is, if Mansa Musa is indeed wealthy as claimed, why is he unpopular like the billionaires we have presently? There are two reasons for that. First, he was born almost 750 years ago, and second, he was the Sultan of the Mali Empire, an African country. The Mali Empire is the largest ever seen in Western Africa, and was really quite something. During its heyday in the 14th century, it covered almost 500,000 square miles and was home to around 5% of the world's population. The empire rose quickly in the space of a couple of generations, during what's known as the Golden Age of trade in Africa. The rise of the Mali Empire was built on its unfathomable wealth, and that came primarily from two things: gold and salt, both of which were in rich local supply, so much so that at the time, approximately half of all the gold in the Old World, that's Africa, Asia, and Europe, came from just 3 gold mines in Mali. The idea that a vast fortune could come from gold is no surprise, but the fact that salt was such a major factor might seem odd when viewed through our modern lens. As unlikely as that may sound, it actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it. After all, salt is an essential part of the human diet. Aside from the fact that we can't survive without it, it also makes bland food much more palatable and can be used as a preservative, which was helpful before the invention of refrigeration. In regions where salt was sparse, it was priceless. Gold, on the other hand, is shiny. We can't overestimate its uses, from electronics to spaceships, but its appearance was the cause of its appeal in the 14th century. Mansa Musa was born around 1280 AD, and he ascended the throne as the 10th ruler of the Mali Empire in 1312 AD. His rise to power was odd, though he was only selected to be a temporary ruler when his predecessor, Abubakar Keita II, went on an exhibition to the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. The incumbent emperor before Mansa Musa took over 3,000 ships and set off into the vast expanse of ocean, leaving behind his throne and one of the greatest fortunes in history, all without a shred of evidence that there was anything to discover on the other side. History shows that neither Abubakar Keita II nor his 3,000-strong fleet was ever seen again. However, a few historians believe he made it all the way to South America, but we would leave that for the historians. After waiting tirelessly for the return of the ruler, Mansa Musa officially ascended the throne, where he set about extending the borders of his lands and growing his already vast wealth. By the way, Mansa is a job title rather than a first name. It means emperor or sultan. Anyway, as the head of one of Africa's greatest empires, just how rich was Mansa Musa? Well, before we get to the numbers, how about an example? The new emperor was a devout Muslim, meaning much like today, it was his solemn duty to undertake the Hajj at least once in his lifetime. It's no exaggeration to say that when Mansa Musa decided it was time to go to Mecca, the pilgrimage from Mali to the Arabian Peninsula was one of the most remarkable journeys ever made by a human being. Mansa Musa assembled over 60,000 men and women, 100 elephants, 80 camels, a personal guard of 500 highly trained warriors, food, and water for everyone. Basically, Mansa Musa undertook this 2,700 miles pilgrimage at the center of an entire movable city, a caravan that stretched longer than the eye could see. For Aladdin lovers, Mansa Musa's entourage was bigger and more extravagant than the entourage Aladdin took with him to impress Princess Jasmine. As you may well know, another of the pillars of Islam is zakat, which is the giving of alms to charitable causes. Mansa Musa didn't just travel with guards and animals. He also took gold and salt. Mansa Musa didn't take all the gold and salt for himself. He planned on giving it all away. Just so you know, So much gold was handed out to the Po en route to Mecca that Mansa Musa single-handedly crashed the price of the commodity across most of North Africa and the Western Arabian Peninsula, including in major gold trading cities like Cairo, Medina, and Mecca itself, precipitating a decade-long recession. Now, who among the modern billionaires can achieve that feat? None, right? We are halfway through, guys, and there are more details to come, so stick around. If you are enjoying the video, kindly hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are yet to do so. Mansa Musa's generosity was about more than just gold. He also wanted to share his beliefs far and wide. But being the richest man in history, he didn't settle for simply spreading the word. Instead, he started a tradition that every Friday, for the entirety of the pilgrimage, no matter where he found himself, he had a mosque built. Now, that's a huge flex considering the trip took almost 2 years, which means he built over 100 mosques. For clarity, written records from the time Mansa Musa ruled are pretty much non-existent, which means it's difficult to be completely sure of his intentions on this pilgrimage, whether it is solely philanthropic or spiritual. The best guess is that Mansa Musa was only keen to show off his immense wealth, impress his friends, and put the Mali Empire on the map. Mansa Musa's hard work paid off, as his name and the empire soon began to crop up on world maps for the first time, including the Catalan Atlas, one of the most important medieval maps of the 14th century. Mansa Musa's pilgrimage didn't only put his country on the map, but it also earned him trusted allies, workers, and artisans when the caravan returned home after completing the Hajj. Speaking of returning home, it was around this time that Mansa Musa began to sprinkle a little gold dust within the borders of his own lands, too, building mosques and madrasas, Arabic institutions. Mansa Musa gave out charity in all places his entourage reached. But there was one place in particular in which Mansa Musa reserved most of his attention, which was Timbuktu. In modern dictionaries, Timbuktu is used as a byword for somewhere unimaginably distant and remote, a status it likely earned because no European managed to figure out how to get there until the 1830s. But the main reason the name became famous in the first place is largely thanks to Mansa Musa. He annexed Timbuktu on his way back from Mecca and set about turning it into one of the most important centers for trade, culture, religion, and learning not just in Africa but around the world. The Jingriba Mosque, which Mansa Musa paid for with 200 kilograms of solid gold, still stands today and makes up part of Timbuktu University. At that time, the university boasted over 25,000 and a library of 1 million books, more than the books held in the Great Library of Alexandria at the height of its fame. Putting an exact number on Mansa Musa's bank account today is difficult, but the figure most often cited accounting for inflation is approximately $400 billion. That's insane. Imagine Mansa Musa in our present world. No billionaire will be fit to lace his boots. Guess you like this video. We have more luxury-themed videos for you, so how about you check out the next video? Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.